Hey there, hello and welcome. It is Madeline here coming to you live from my favorite walking place. I haven't seen you in a while, not because I don't have a lot to say. I have a lot that I want to share with you, but there's so much that I want to share with you that I end up sharing nothing. I hope you can appreciate that. I'm sure that some of you can appreciate that. So I'm just going to pick a topic and go with it and hope that it serves you, okay? So a little while back, and this is still relevant today. A little while back, a couple of you, a couple of my friends asked about, what word am I going to use, right? So I am going to speak in a little bit of code because we know that this platform is highly monitored, okay? And content gets removed and or deleted if it doesn't align with the current narrative and propaganda. Oop, there's one of those bad words, I'm sure. So a little while back, a friend of mine asked about shedding, okay? The transmission of side effects of those who have gotten the juice to those who have not gotten the juice, right? So, or the needle, okay? I'm gonna call it the needle or the juice. You know what I'm talking about, right? Because at the time, and still, right, but then other wild topics have come about to replace it. But at the time, there was a lot of news, of course, in alternative news sources regarding the effects, the side effects of people who have not gotten the needle, getting side effects that have been reported by folks who have gotten the juice, right? So, and these are things like irregular, hey, Robert, good to see you. These are things like bleeding, right? So ladies who are in menopause getting their periods, ladies who are before still have their menstrual cycles having irregular periods, lost pregnancies and things like that. And then for the men, it's a little different, it's a little more subtle for the men, but in young people, we know that we're hearing about cardiomyopathy or heart side effects, okay? So, and the real tragedy of this, one of the many real tragedies of this, is that we know that this phenomena is happening, but nobody is looking at it, right? So we don't have any real data to report. Okay, so but the intention, my interpretation of the tension behind these questions or these inquiries from my friends and my audience is that what can I do to protect myself? And I can teach you how to do that. And one thing that I do, so personally that I do, I wear the little black one, that's a shungite bracelet, and that's a protective energy, right? So I'm all about all natural, connecting with the earth. Currently I'm sitting on the earth, I'm connecting with nature because, oh, that's a story for another day, right? Because I believe I am, that we are intricately connected. Oh, but you know what? It's actually related to the point that I want to make is that we are intricately, connected and related. So what does that mean? Does that mean being around the people who have gotten the juice can impact you? Sure. And that's because my cells are speaking to your cells are speaking to my cells. So if I'm around someone who has gotten the needle, and I am on a regular basis, right? So I have many people who I love and that I am close to that have gotten the needle, and I spend time with them. However, I believe that I am the strongest cell in the petri dish, as my friend likes to say, right? Or that I am the strongest physiology that I meet. So unless I am met by a stronger, more healthy physiology than I want, I'm making hand gestures that you can't see, then I want their influence. But regarding being around people who have gotten the juice or the needle, I know that I am influencing them, that when my physiology recognizes that there's a threat, my physiology says, I got this, right? Like, I got this. We're the stronger of the two. We're the healthier of the two. Let me shed some of my love, some of my health and well-being on them instead of being impacted adversely the other way. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chats, whether you're watching the replay or watching this live. So let's connect that to the current narrative, okay, which is that somehow illness is random, or that your fellow human is a threat and can make you sick. Just let me say, that's ridiculous, okay? So I've shared this before. Germ theory is a myth, right? I believe germ theory is a myth. There is countless mounting evidence since 1920 that germ theory is a myth. That so, you know, like I can't kiss or hug you and make you sick. That's ridiculous. By the same token, if I spit on a surface and you pick up, if I spit in my hand and you touch my hand, that doesn't make you sick. So, and that begs the question, how do you get sick? There are 4 ways that we get sick. And one of them is what we started this conversation with. I want you to remember that. Okay? So there are 4 ways that you can get sick. The first way is injury. Okay? Let's say I've been walking around barefoot, to be grounding with the earth and this beautiful grass. So let's say I stepped on a sharp object, cut myself, my foot got infected. That's one way I can get sick. Okay. The second way we can get sick is via starvation. Now that doesn't mean that we're not getting food. That means that we're not getting nutritious food. So someone who is grossly obese could be starved for nutrients, right? And healthy foods that their body craves. Okay. So starvation, not getting the right nutrients, including water. Okay, the third way that we can get sick is through poison or toxicity. Okay, this includes poisons, right? Chemicals in our food, chemicals in our medicines, chemical in our drinks, chemicals that we ingest intentionally, like smoking, alcohol, energy drinks, that sort of thing, right? So toxicity into our physiology, pollution in, making hair gestures again, pollution in the air. And also negative emotions, right? So negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, resentment, all of those things are toxic to our physiology and will cause illness if left unchecked. And lastly, we're going to start, number 4 is the same thing that we started with, right? Which is, for lack of a better term, resonance, okay? My cells are talking to your cells. Even now, right? Even now, virtually, as you watch this video, my cells are talking to your cells because there is no time and space, right? That's all an illusion. And we're communicating messages, right? So if I have a cold, for example, again, a cold that I created because of one of the first 3 things, one or all of the first 3 things that I talked about, right? My cells are going to respond accordingly. And then if we spend time together, even virtually, I believe, I do need to double check that with my teachers who are physicians. So if I have the opportunity to do that, I'll report back. So my cells are talking to your cells. And if we spend time together, my cells will tell your cells there's a threat, prepare, right? And that preparation results as viruses in our physiology. We have a virome in our physiology. The planet has a virome, just like we have a birome in our physiology. And there, my loves, are the 4 ways that we can get sick, that we can contract information to each other. So if that 4th one, right, that resonance is a bit of a stretch for you, I'm going to leave you with this. Just consider, right, that my cells are talking to your cells and your cells will respond accordingly. I know that at some point in time, we have all walked into a room or into a situation where we're coming into a room and the people in the room are laughing hysterically, right? You don't know what about, just that they are laughing hysterically. You start laughing too, right? And the same could be true with their crying, right? But we'll go with laughter, right? Because some people suppress their negative emotions. But we'll go with laughter. You walk into a room, everyone's laughing, you start laughing too, and through your laughter you ask, what are we laughing about? But you're laughing, right? That's just evidence. That's just one small example of how we are so interconnected as human beings that we respond to each other's being, emotions, health, and well-being unconsciously, right? And that laughter, that infectious, great word, that infectious laughter is a perfect example of step number 4, which is resonance. So, my lovelies, I hope this serves you. I will look forward to, let me know what questions or comments you have in the comments below. I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next video. And until then, I'll see you in the gap. Namaste. Be blessed. Mwah.